Hello and welcome back. So at this point, we are going to create a GitHub repo for our auth service and then push the code to the repo. Now you might be wondering, okay, we've not created the search feature, we've not added our seeding. We're going to do that in the next section, okay? So I just decided not to put those features right now in this section. So in the next section, we are going to implement the seed and also the search feature. But at this point, let's go ahead and push our code to GitHub. And also we're going to push the API gateway code as well. So in the auth service, I will run git init. Okay, so to initialize the repository for GitHub. And then I'll go to GitHub and then create a new project. Okay, so I'll call this Jobber auth. Okay, and yeah, I will leave this as, set this as private. Okay, and then create repository. Okay, go through this process. We already ran git init. Here I'll do git add all. Okay, git commit, whatever commit message you want to add, first commit. Okay, and then if I go back, even though the branch is main, I'll just run the command. Now let me add the origin. Okay, go ahead, add the git origin, and then here I will do git push origin main. Okay, so with this, if I reload the page, should have the code here on GitHub. Okay, so now that we have this, let's also go ahead and make changes or push the code for our API gateway. Okay, remember we made changes. Okay, as you can see, the changes we made are all related to the auth service. Okay, so I'll say git add, okay, git commit, added controllers and routes for auth service. Okay, and then git push. Okay, so with this now we've pushed the changes from our API gateway service locally to GitHub. Now, one last thing I want to do is to add the auth service to Docker Compose. So maybe later at the end of the course, you want to just run everything, you can just use your Docker Compose file. Okay, so for this, I'm going to, let me duplicate this notification service, and then I'll change this to auth. Okay, now let's start making changes to the name. So here, this is going to be called auth container, and then the build, the service, this is going to be 3-auth service. That is the name of the auth service directory or folder, and then we are using the same Docker file. Now the port number is 4002. Okay, and now let us go ahead and add the env variables. Okay, so copy all of this. Okay, and then you can go ahead and add them. So right here. Okay, so I will just hold down the option key and then select all of these parts. So I'm doing the multi-select on VS Code. Okay, okay, so this enable APM, the value, we're going to work on this later, not at this point. The JWT token will remain, the gateway JWT token will remain, the node env. Now the API gateway, now we need to change the URL for this. So it's going to be, instead of localhost, we are going to use gateway, gateway container. Okay, so we use gateway container. Here is going to be, where is it? This is gateway, and here will be gateway container, then colon 4000. So use the container name, and then the same, I will do the same for the gateway service. So let me look for the auth service. Here will be auth container. Okay, and then here we have every other thing. Elasticsearch, this should be Elasticsearch container. Okay, Okay, and this depends on Elasticsearch, and also I think it depends on MySQL. Okay, I think that was what's that's the name of the service. Okay, yes, MySQL, that is the name of the service. Okay, so now we also have added the auth service to our Docker Compose file.